Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 73. We're ready to rock and roll here today, and I'm super excited because we got a couple of new characters to talk about. We've got some news to discuss, and I've got some special guests here today. I believe T-Money should be joining us again, as she was here last week. She's just not here yet, but we are being joined today by another YouTube personality, and she's actually part of the podcast with Nukin and Naughty Karate. Avinash, how you doing today, Avi?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so I'm glad to have her with us. She's very knowledgeable about the game, and she's actually a part of my guild, and one of the officers, and pretty much runs the guild herself. But and also I'm joined by good old Maurice, as usual. How you doing, bud? Maurice, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I was on push talk. Yeah, doing well, man. How you guys?
Good.
I'll fix that now.
Good. So, first I wanted to talk a little bit about the recent update and the release of the new characters. So we did get Darkside Bastila. We were kind of speculating as to what characters were going to be coming from KOTOR. And even though I was kind of reluctant to say that it was going to be Darkside Bastila because we had just gotten, the other Bastila a few months ago, I didn't think we were going to get another version of the same character within the same year. But we did actually get that, and she's actually a pretty awesome character. So I mean, she's got some utility on a Sith team. She's also got that Old Republic tag, so there's a possibility of using her in a good Old Republic team if you have Revan lead. But she is doing very well. She can actually help take down Revan teams with a Traya lead, from what I've seen on some of the Game Changer videos. Have you had a chance to test her out yet?
I have not had a chance yet.
True story. I fell asleep early on the last night of the event and missed the the event, so I had to purchase the $10 pack. I'm that guy with the 2-star Darkside Bastila.
Okay.
Gear 4. So no, no, I've not. I've seen her in action a lot. I mean, she's you mod her upright, you mod the rest of your Sith team upright. She is taking out. She's helping take out Revan. Trey is right back in the mix. You do have to do some significant remodding. You do have to put a little bit of gear on her, but she that boost she gives to Trey is the real deal. It's pretty nice, that defense and tenacity, and then the stacking offense. It really does make a big difference.
She seems like a great character. Actually, somebody I really want to get. So I already started buying the pack slowly. I mean, I got 7 shards so far, besides the $10 pack. But I'm going to take the the crystals I get from Arena every day, and I'm just going to use them to buy Bastila shards whenever I have enough. And I probably shouldn't do that. I probably should just save, and then when she becomes farmable out of the store, just buy the packs there, or buy the shards out of there, because I don't want to wait till she becomes a hard node farm. But a question that I have for you guys is, what are your thoughts about Darkside Bastila, or Bastila Fallen, and Canderous Ordo being part of possibly a future legendary character? So I mean, do you think that we're going to be getting, let's say, Revan or Malik with Darkside Bastila?
I do think so, definitely. If it continues the trend like they did with Revan, that's a distinct possibility.
I mean,
I think they're gonna, yes and no. I don't think they'll give us the same path. It's just too predictable, right? It's if they do the identical thing for the Darkside Revan or for Malik, Malik could be a marquee character. Who knows? I think they're gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm unsure how they're. I think it's too predictable, and there's just, I don't know. People can prepare this time. They'll buy the $10 pack. They'll save up all their crystals for the shipments. I just don't think. I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I do it identical so everybody can, everyone knows it's coming and this and that, but we won't know until the last second, right? So
I have a gut feeling that this is not just coincidence. I mean, I know that there are going to be probably other characters that you need. I think that you'll need 5 Old Republic characters for another character at some point. But, I mean, so we needed 5 Old Republic for Revan, right? So, I mean, that tag itself probably won't be needed again. It'll probably be specific characters, or maybe it could be... I don't think it'll be a hero's journey for Malak. I think he'll be either a legendary event or he'll be a marquee, like you said. But maybe it's somebody bigger than that. Maybe it's Vitiate. Maybe it's the Sith, maybe it's the Sith Emperor himself. And that would be ultimately even cooler than Malak, to be honest with you. If it's Vitiate, I mean, I don't even think he ever wielded a lightsaber. I mean, I think all his powers or his abilities would be all Force abilities. And he would be probably a pretty badass character in this game if we were able to get him. But we'll have to see. I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell. It would also have to probably... I mean, I would think that if you're going to need... I don't think we're getting Dark Side Revan or Light Side, Dark Side Revan anytime soon. I think that's going to be way down the road. I mean, we're definitely going to have that event come back again before we get another version of Revan. But we'll have to see. So we also got Canderous Ordo, and I didn't even unlock him yet, so we'll do that right now.
He's gonna be a pretty key piece for large rosters. He's gonna be an excellent like supplemental scoundrel. He's gonna pair really well with Mission Zalbar. You saw all that footage that CG provided for us that they're using under Vader. It's interesting. Kind of compare with Wampa. For kit wise, it's a very, very basic kit. He does have some potential to be one of these standalone characters in like the P3 of the raid, like the Greedo, the Raid Han, just the characters who stand alone, especially with that Zeta, the crit damage up for 2 turns. He's going to be an interesting depth piece. I don't think he's going to be like a meta character per se, but I think he's going to be better than some of these other marquee, kind of just goons like Imperial Super Commando and Sith Marauder. He's going to be a pretty good character, just a above average all around type attacker.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be like a meta changing character. He seems like a good addition to the Scoundrels, but again, I mean, I don't think they're done with these. I don't think they're done with KOTOR characters, because when they said companions, right? I mean, the first character that came to my mind was what's his name? I'm forgetting his name right now.
Karth
Onassi, right? And I thought for sure this is Karth, right? He's coming. He's the most important. He's the most significant character out of all the minions or all the playable characters in that game. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought when they said, like, companions, I thought for sure that he was going to be one of the companions. So, I mean, he has to be coming. Right?
Yeah, you think so. I really don't know. I mean, is there really 5 dark side characters left? I guess 3 now. I mean, is there really 3 dark side characters? I mean, like Darth Malak would have to be like a marquee. Maybe they could release a new HK-47. I mean, I just don't. Maybe Karth could be in the mix, and then maybe they rework HK-47, or at least give him the tag to where you have 5 dark side Old Republic characters. We don't really have a leader for this faction yet, so I would imagine that would be the dark side Revan, I guess.
Well, Revan is a journey, right? Like Rey and like Luke. Okay, so he is definitely getting like another part of his journey. So at some point, there's going to be another version of Revan. We know that 100%. All right, so this is just the Jedi version. Eventually, we're going to get either the Sith version or a version that is both light side and dark side. So whatever the next iteration is of Revan, it's going to need certain characters. I'm assuming that it will be dark side characters because we needed light side characters to get the Jedi Revan. I think to get the dark side Revan, you're going to need definitely dark side Bastila, the Bastila Fallen. I think for sure. I think possibly Canderous Ordo, maybe Malik, like you said. But I don't know how many other. I mean, maybe HK-47. Maybe just they add the tag to HK-47, give them a rework, and add some Old Republic synergies to them. You know, along with maybe some synergies with droids, and maybe there's a fifth character that we're just not thinking of right now that kind of joins the bunch at some point down the road. But it's too early to tell. I mean, all this is just speculation right now. So, I mean, again, I'm just happy to see the 2 new characters. I'm happy that we're getting more KOTOR. That's always welcome in this game. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know, whenever they dive into the past, you know, for me, that's always a huge plus. I do hope we eventually get the Eternal Twins and Valkorion and, you know, some of the other Old Republic characters or Old Republic time frame characters from that era, even though those characters are a little bit further down the chain or down the road. I hope that at some point they visit that too. But what are your thoughts about the 2 new characters, Avi? I mean, have you played with Canderous or Bastila?
I haven't had a chance to play with Bastila yet. I just got her up to 4-star G11.
Okay.
So I'm going to be trying her out on my team tomorrow. Canderous, I think that he's going to be kind of a so-so tune, but at the same time, I think that if we get some more characters out, that he might fit very, very well with them.
Okay.
It's kind of like how the other Old Republic tunes, you kind of look at them and you go, oh God, okay, Mission Bout, ew, a couple others, ew, but as we started getting more tunes and you started putting them on some of the teams, they seem to shine a little bit more. And right. I have a feeling he's going to shine a little bit more down the road. And Bastila might even be shining even more after that.
Should I put a Zeta on Darkside Bastila? I mean, I'm going to do it eventually, right?
I would say no, not at this point, because it's really not that great of a Zeta at this time.
Okay.
It's just basically, if I remember correctly, it just gives foresight, 1 foresight at the beginning of the turn or something like that.
So it's really not like that. It's really not that advantageous.
No, it's not really advantageous at this time anyway. You know, if you have like 100 spare Zetas, yeah, possibly.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna mod up my Gear 8 Bastila, and I'm gonna try some arena battles with her at Gear 8 and see how she does. I mean, if I've heard some things about her being at like low levels and still being pretty competitive, so we'll see if we can get get a couple of victories out of her at a low level.
Did you just get 7.11% protection on that mod? That's pretty intense. That's pretty good. just you know.
Yeah, 7.
Really, just
four rolls of protection. That's pretty awesome.
Like, oh, we'll just take this one up. You end up with all these nasty mods. It's just like, whoa, that's a good one.
That's actually pretty good, yeah. All right, so we'll give her crit damage.
So do you think a possibility down the road that they might add one of the other Wookiees, the Wookiee Scout or whatever? You know, you can't have too many Wookiees.
No, you can't have too many Wookiees. I mean, do I think that they should? Yes. I think before they do that, though, I think we're getting more Tuskens. We have to, right? I mean, we only have 3 Tuskens.
We've got to. Oh, yes, absolutely. We need to fill that faction out.
We only have 2? Was it a Tusken Raider, Tusken Shaman? Yeah, just 2.
And
Aurora. Yeah, so we have 3. Okay, so we have 3. We need 2 more. And we still need another Geonosian.
Yes.
At some point.
Well, I think there's a Geonosian in the game, like a Geonosian commander. They could easily make that faction complete with what they have in the game files already. I have no idea what that character does. Just, I mean, throw them in there and just give yourself a full team. I guess, man. Can't be any worse than Poggle. So just I mean,
cannot be worse than Poggle. Geonosian commander. They need to rework Poggle's leader ability, because I mean, it would be cool to have a good Geonosian squad. I mean, you shouldn't have to run IG-88 lead with the Geonosians to have a decent team.
Well, even that team's super dated. You know, that's not really even a realistic team anymore. We talk about Ordo. Ordo under 88 is interesting, and Ordo, just, you know, cater your expectations, guys. They made a post on the forum. He delivers just random amounts of dots, and so it's not. I don't think it's working quite as intended. Even in that marquee event, if you're playing it, you know, Ordo will triple tap. It'd be like 3 dots on the first one, whiff on the second one, and then 1 dot in the third. So it's kind of random. I don't think he's supposed to land more than 1 dot per attack. So just, you know, if you see it and you see him dropping 3 dots, and all of a sudden they got 9 dots on him, that's not how it's supposed to work. So don't get like super excited and take him to gear 11, thinking you're gonna get like 9 dots every time he attacks, because it's probably not going to be the case.
Right.
No, they already said that they're going to fix that.
Yeah,
they're having a patch coming this week. Yeah,
I think they did a good job, because, you know, I saw it in the marquee event. I was like, whoa, you know, I was like, whoa, wait a second.
I was like, wow, yeah, I'll take this guy all the way up if he actually does.
Yeah,
this marquee event.
It looked he looked ridiculous in that marquee event.
Yeah, because in that marquee event, I mean, if you triple tap on your basic and land 3 dots every time, you got 9 dots. You just instantly start. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna say to your Wampa, and then you're gonna get all like invested in this character, like, oh, he's broken.
Get Vader in there.
Yeah, they did that quick, so that was good.
But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you know, I still think he's a pretty decent character. I mean, he's just got. Let's see here. The way mods work now, it's so tough to tell what's going to level up. It's like almost any mod is not worth throwing away anymore, because you don't know if you're going to get speed on that 5th.
Right.
You could get like 4 pulls of speed, even though the mod's like purple. And speed's not showing.
Yeah, like that health protection, health mod there, that you could have leveled up to 12, and you could have gotten like 15 speed out of it.
Right.
Just without even knowing it's there. Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times. And these blue ones we get from these assault battles, you know, just like, this one looks junky. And you take it up to 12, and all of a sudden you got mod of 10, 15 speed if you're really, really lucky.
Yeah. I just take it up to 9, and if it shows any speed in that 4th spot, then I'll take it up to like 12 to kind of let it sit there.
That ground, yes, they're health mods, but that Ground Wars event, I don't think it's terribly inefficient to refresh that. I mean, you get what, 9 blue mods out of it for 225 crystals. That's not a terrible use of your crystals. I do it occasionally if I have the bank for it, but if you can get one blue mod, with 12, 13 speed on it, it's almost worth it. The 225 crystals. I mean, you can refresh mods 50, 50, 50, 100, 100, 100, and not get a 13 speed mod out of the deal. So
yeah, I do find that in some of the mods that, it's like you will have a speed on it, but it will up everything around that speed and not the speed itself.
Yeah.
That's probably 99.9% of the time for me.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels like it.
That's pretty much how it is. Okay, so I'm not getting any luck here with this. I'm just gonna put...
It doesn't, man, you got 3-star, like, you don't have to just make her go fast. Like, maybe put some potency on her.
Right, it doesn't have to be a set. Okay, so I'm just
gonna be 1 or 2 shot anyway. Grandmaster Yoda will easily take out Darkside Bastila at 3-star gear 8 with 1 shot. So, I mean, it's not like there's not really like an efficient way to mod her where she's going to survive. She's going to die, but it's that leader, that little, I don't know, it's interesting. It's unique how she gives the leader the 50% defense, 50% tenacity, and then the offense. It's a unique mechanic, and it's definitely, Sith don't have that type of character, just like a purely support character. So it's a nice addition to the game. It really completes the faction out. Is she a meta character? Is she a cheese your way through Revan character? Yeah. But I don't know if she's like, I don't know if you take her to gear 12, I don't know how, I'm not sure. I don't know much about her. I haven't got to play with her, but people are using her. And it's, I've seen a guy in my shard, first place with his gear 7 3-star Bastila just hanging out, taking out we got some good Revan teams in my shard too. We're just climbing up through the ranks here.
Alright, so I'm going to try to take out a Revan team in this. So I should use her with Sith, right? No, don't try her with an Old Republic lead.
I would think so. I don't because she gives the offense to the Sith only. So if you do use her with Revan or another leader, that leader will get 50% defense and tenacity, but not the offense.
Okay.
And now with these Sith teams, you do. I mean, it is a pretty significant remod. You want to make You want to mod your Traya just uber tanky, and she can actually survive that initial onslaught. And then you use Thrawn, swap the turn meter. She sheds the mark, and she sheds the buff immunity, and then you just get to isolate. Thrawn will fracture, and then you just get rolling. Scion take care of all those buffs. So a lot of people are upset that a 3-star character can beat their new toy Revan. I don't know. I can understand why they're upset, but I really don't have a problem with it. As Traya is in-game content. I mean,
but this game has always been a situation where any team can beat you. So I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised in any way that they have another character that came out right away that was able to help the Sith win. I mean, I don't think they intended Revan to just completely shut everybody out permanently forever.
Well,
he is.
I definitely think that, people are really upset because Revan, it's like Revan, and Revan is so OP and stuff. But the thing is that I think that the game developers have a plan. It's not going to be only Revan for the time. It's going to be him for the time being, but there's going to be a lot more characters coming out between now and in the future that are going to depose him from that OP status. And I'm really hoping that they start working on some of the older tunes to be able to compete with, not massively, but to be able to compete and to complement some of the other positions that they can place on a team. And I would like to be able to use my entire roster rather than say 15 to 20 of them and then the rest of them are crap.
Yeah, makes sense. They're taking me out here. This is not working as well as I thought it might. But
well, I mean, like I said, you gotta it's going to be difficult to do on the stream because I mean it's going to take you quite a good bit of time to mod your Traya team up for this. People are talking 60k, 70k protection on Traya. Some people are suggesting tenacity, which isn't a bad suggestion, as she can avoid that Grandmaster Yoda turn meter removal mechanic, so you can shed that mark even faster. But it's an interesting option for those that didn't get Revan, and it's worth trying if you don't have Revan. Like if you have Revan, it's cool for TW, but let's be real, you're using Revan in Arena, right? So, if you didn't get Revan, it's an option that the game just basically gives you. She's extremely easy to gear. I mean, you just watched Ramon gear up to gear 8 almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
She's incredibly easy to gear. She works at gear 8 if you take the time and mod your team properly. So it's definitely a nice option. And we'll see if it works long term. It's working now. People eventually, I guess, get tired of losing to the Bastila on defense, maybe tweak their Revan teams a little bit. It might not work anymore. So, but it's a very, very small investment. She probably needs a couple of those Omegas, but the Zeta's definitely just a luxury. All the Zeta's going to do for you in Arena is one Jedi's going to miss, on that foresight. That's it. It could be useful in the raid. I could see her having some future raid relevance, perhaps, because once you get your Traya 7-star, you put the Triumvirate in the Sith raid. I mean, it doesn't matter who your 4th and 5th characters are. You can probably rack up at least 1.5–2 million in P2 with your Traya and Triumvirate. So maybe she adds a little bit of boost there. If nothing else, give some debuffs just so Nihilus can use his Force Drain and reduce the cooldown of his Annihilate.
Yeah, for sure. So, have you guys tried out the buffs so far to the characters? Have you tried the Mace Windu buff yet in TW?
Yeah. Well, actually, I have I think I've got 3 G12 Mace Windus. So, well, okay, simply not on the same account. I have them on 3 different accounts. So, just to clarify that, it's not all on one account. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Okay.
I had a blast. Matter of fact, in one of the TWs, I did like 130 banners within about 20 minutes. I think it was, just by using some of the OP tunes. Cup and Windu and those. So that was a lot of fun. But the Windu, oh yeah, I stuck him in there by himself against the Sith team, an EP team actually.
Well, we faced a guild to put 25 Revens and 25 Mace Windus in TW. That was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's just silly. Like, oh my god, I am so ready now for this Mace Windu buff to be over.
Yeah, but it's it's kind of nice that it made it a little bit different.
It did.
My guild really, for as high a GP it really doesn't. One of my guilds anyway. Doesn't really have that many Revens, so I only made sure that only 5 Revens were put on defense, actually, this time around.
5 Revens on defense?
Yep, this time around, yeah. Just to kind of test the waters, see how it went, put Mace Windu on there, and the entire zone was cleared except for those 5 Revens.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. There was just no way for them, and they turn meter charged every single one of them.
Really?
Yeah, they did. So.
I'm just sick of it. Sick of it. Give me my scoundrel and bounty hunter bonuses back. Let me get those first order bonuses back.
Explain turn meter charge for some of the players here, because I don't think not everybody really understands that.
Understands the concept, yeah. Pretty much if you're in TW and you're going up against a team, say First Order, and you go in with your appropriate offense team for First Order, one of the things that happens a lot of times, especially with lower GP guilds or somebody that's not aware, is that if you go in and attack the team, if you do not take out at least 1 or 2 tunes, you're going to be reducing down their protection a little bit, maybe a little bit of health. The thing is, if you fail, you just charge their turn meter. They're basically revved and ready to go for the next person that goes in. They're ramped up. They could have, their taunts going. They have their special abilities going. So the best thing to do when you're in that kind of a situation is if you're on an emulator, it's really easy to cut your Wi-Fi connection. If you're on your mobile phone, if you're on a tablet, you put yourself in what is called airplane mode, or basically turn off your Wi-Fi, and you can play it manually. Basically, is can be a term that we can use, so that if you fail to take down any tunes or the team, you're going to be able to back out of it. You're going to be able to completely restart the game, because you want to make sure not to turn that Wi-Fi right back on, because otherwise it's going to count and it's going to reflect that turn meter charge.
So basically, you're understanding that you're going to lose at this point. And
right. If you're going to lose, you better get your butt out of there. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So what it does, because if you leave and you reset the game and then you go back in, you basically, that person is starting fresh. There's no turn meter charge. There's no attacks that have been made. It's a fresh start. So it makes it so much easier for the next person going in to take it down.
And this way, the next time somebody comes in, it's like a fresh battle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because it can be really scary.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, again, I understand it. I think that we've been doing a better job of kind of avoiding those situations in our guild. But for some guilds that may not necessarily understand, I mean, I think that there is some merit to that, because if you pay attention to it, it can help you, especially with some of those teams that become really challenging there, down the stretch, when you don't necessarily have the meta-defining characters anymore to beat these teams. You're trying to beat these teams with some of your scraps. Starting off the battle with like a turn meter charge team can be a killer.
Exactly. In one of the guilds where one of my alts is, there was 4 teams left in a zone to be cleared. And I was like, and every one of them were turn meter charged. So I don't know who did it in the guild or whatever, but it was 1 Bastila, 1 Treya, 1 Revan team, and 1 First Order team.
First Order teams are a nightmare to deal with.
They're a nightmare. So that's actually one that I tackled first, because I wanted to make sure that I got the best team possible that I had left to be able to take that out. And then the other ones I was able to take down to help them clear the zone. But it was, man, that was hard. One of them took a couple of teams. The Revan team took like 3 teams, actually, because I didn't have much of my meta left to take anything down. So I had to kind of pick them off one by one.
Yeah, those First Order teams, if you leave them, like, it's hard enough to try to get whatever you're using to be faster than maybe the First Order officer. A lot of people use the officer and dump a bunch of speed on him to make him go first with that 30 speed from Kylo. But you can overcome it. He's not the fastest character in the game, but if you get them, loaded with turn meter, every time they crit, they give themselves 20% turn meter, and Kylo goes as AoE, gives them more turn meter, the Stormtrooper taunts, gives turn meter, and there's the likelihood you even get a turn is slim. Like, they just go and go and go and go, and just wipe out your whole meta team.
Exactly. Like, you go in and you're not prepared. You could be just sitting there getting womped on, and then that's it. You don't even get a turn, and you're out of there, and you're like, what just happened?
All right. Let me do this, and then we'll try another battle, and then we'll get into the meta report here in a few minutes. So immediately, I guess Bastila has some merit and some value, but we're saying that Canderous is, again, more of like an addition to a scoundrel team, right?
At this point, I think so, yeah.
I'm interested in him because I haven't developed a scoundrel team, yeah.
I really think he's got potential.
Like, if you don't have Kira, if you don't have that Vader Zeta, if you don't have a Wampa Zeta, he's not probably gonna fit into your roster too well. At least an initial glance. Who knows? He might turn out to be a monster at 7-star. I haven't seen any 7-star Gear 12, Rambordos yet, so we'll see.
Now, there also was an update about cheating in the game, right? So, I mean, I don't want to go too far into it, but what was the update? I mean, what did they basically say?
The crack in the whip.
Yeah, cracking down on mostly crystal buyers, third-party crystal buyers.
Okay. That's
what they were concentrating on, because in the end it hurts their pocketbook. So that's makes it difficult for anybody else in the game too, when you're able to buy something like that inexpensive, and you can buy just massive amounts of crystals. And that just isn't fair to anybody else in the game, and I understand the concept of trying to cut that off.
Yeah, so basically, this is not tailored towards people that are like, like actually manipulating the game to win or lose battles. This is more about, inventory, like they're cheating for resources.
Well, and I don't even think it's really the person purchasing the crystal. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I've never been encountered with even like a message asking if I was interested in such a thing. I'm not too savvy on this topic, but I don't know. You're getting stuff at a discount, I guess, the crystals, and just dangerous in general. You don't even know. You can send your money off and then just end up with nothing. And I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never purchased crystals from a third-party vendor for this game. So
I've never done anything like that on any of the games I've ever played. I figure it's fair is best. Whether it puts me behind the meta or whatever, then that's the way it is. I'll work my way up there at some point.
Yeah,
I think some people are impatient.
It's no different when the alleged Prince of Zimbabwe messages me offering me $1 million in my email account. Like, hey, we've all gotten those scam emails from some prince or something, or somebody calling you on the phone asking for your social security number. It's really just dangerous, I guess.
For sure.
I don't really know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but I do know that they told us a long time ago you can't really hack the game for crystals itself. Like, you can't, like, get fake crystals. It's just not possible. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a way to, like, get cheaper crystals, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you can't, like, tell the server that you're ordering crystals without... They have to release them to you, and there has to be, like, a money transaction for that to happen. Because we don't play this game on a live server. We play it locally. So basically, games are set up a little bit differently based on the game. So for example, like I play a Power Rangers game, which is on a live server. So what I'm doing is actually, the battle's actually happening live while, with another person in the game, right? Whereas like with Star Wars, you're not doing that. You're actually playing locally on your server, so you're playing on your phone. Like, you don't even have to have internet to do your battle. Like, you can literally turn your internet off while you're playing and play your battle, and then it won't be until the battle's over when the game has to send a signal back to the main server telling them whether you won or lost, that you actually need the internet again to send a message to that server. Does that make any sense?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how it works. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how people are doing it. I mean, yeah, but basically they made a post that they're going to be cracking the whip on it. So, if you guys see something, say something.
Well, like we talked about last week, there are options in the game. You can report people. You can make posts in the forum. Like, if you think something is suspicious,
Lucifer's daddy.
Yeah, like he made it pretty clear, because Lucifer's daddy was introduced as basically the enforcer quite some time ago. He's been kind of quiet, but it's clear he's been very, very busy, and they do take these things seriously. So if you do think something is suspicious, it doesn't hurt to report it. They will look into it. Just again, like, don't report somebody because you're pissed off at them or they beat you. Like, just if you think something is shady, like you see somebody climbing an arena with a Gear 7 Anakin lead or something, and it doesn't seem right. It just never hurts to utilize the report features that are offered, because it makes the game fair for everyone. And just if cheating goes rampant, this is, I guess, a different topic than the crystal thing, but cheating does kind of ruin everyone's time, and that's why we don't have tournaments probably. And it's just try to make the playing environment a better place for everyone.
Well, it's definitely
fair environment.
It's definitely why we don't have tournaments. They got rid of tournaments because of cheating way back when, and that was because people were just like simming victories. I mean, again, it was one of those things where they weren't actually playing, and they were just sending a signal to the main server saying that they were winning battles. So they were getting currency, or they were getting awarded points for not doing the battle at all. You could see that it was pretty evident with some of the people that were playing. You had people that didn't even have meta teams or meta characters, and they were somehow competing at like the highest level. So it was pretty obvious. But I always felt like I'm from the school of thought that, like, as much as I don't like that, I mean, and obviously it's not really fair. I would rather have tournaments than not have them at all, even if that means that some people are getting unfair advantages from it, if that makes any sense. I'd rather not lose a game mode entirely because of a few bad apples.
Right.
But unfortunately, tournaments went away 2 years ago, and it hasn't come back since. So, but it seems like this Grand Arena could be like sort of Tournaments 2.0, right? So we'll see what that's
I'm really
like.
excited for this. I'm really looking forward to this game mode. If nothing else, it's going to be like a nice testing ground. Because when you get into TW, you've got 40 other people relying on your participation, how efficient you are. So nothing, even if you just tank in Grand Arena, it's a place where you can test out your teams against, you know, the meta defensive teams without jeopardizing your guild's success, if you will. So this would be really good practice for everyone, because there's really nowhere to test anything in the game right now, unless you just want to fight Revan over and over and over again, or maybe some Treya. You know, there's no Galactic War testing anymore. So I'm looking forward to just having a competitive place to test my teams, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this game mode or not, because it's just simply one more thing that I just don't have time for.
Right, it's more time in the game.
Yeah, and has anybody heard anything on how they're going to fit it in? Because are they going to take away, say, one guild TW, have like a guild TW and then one of these, or are they going to overlap on another game mode?
I'm sure they're going to like sort of work it into the schedule with TWs and TBs. I mean, they're definitely not going to add it to like where you're doing this while you're doing a TB or something like that. That would be, I think, too much.
Right now it's like, yeah, because honestly, I mean, the time that we have in between like the TW and the TB is, of course, sometimes I don't think it's enough, because there's always so much going on between so many guilds and such. You know, people moving, people quitting, people whatever it is that they're doing. Sometimes a day just isn't quite enough. So what was it, last month? Was it that they crammed that extra TB in there because they skipped it because of some major stuff, and they added it into the next month, and there was things overlapped. It overlapped, and there was no time in between game modes, and that was bad. That was bad. That was a major burnout waiting to happen. Right.
I think it's going to be constant. I think it's going to be every single day in Grand Arena, because they're talking about it's going to be like kind of like a tournament bracket from at least the looks of it, and you know, but you're going to have a day where you sign up, and that's going to be where you just like hit the join button. If it's like TW now, you hit the join button, you sit there literally for a full day and do nothing, and then there's another full day of nothing where you simply place your, you know, depending what your guild does, you know, 3 to 5 to 6, whatever defenses, you just place them, and that's it. It literally takes 10 seconds, you know. So I think it would be like one day of playing, and then maybe 2 days off till your next opponent. I could see it running nonstop, which is a time sink, yes, but you got to think a lot of times you're not going to. Not everybody in the game is super competitive, so there's going to be times where you sign up and you might place your defense teams, and the other team doesn't place any defenses or doesn't play offense. You have to go in there and kill one team and you win. So it might not be quite as time intensive, you know, as people are concerned about.
Right.
Yeah. And it's individual. It's individually paced. So I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to play. You won't get the rewards, which none of us know what the rewards are. So I guess that's gonna determine
Darth Malik shards.
Yeah, maybe
Darth Malik shards. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, if it's gonna be shards, then definitely there's gonna be a lot more people into that game mode, at least for the time being. If there's not any shards, hard to say. I think people are going to be kind of a hit or miss on whether they say, oh well, you know, for this one I'll jump in. For the next one I don't have time. But it's nice that it's going to be kind of an optional thing that people can do if they want to, and not have to worry about that they have to.
Right. All right, let's dive into the meta report for this week. Pull that up. So we're going to take a look at last week's, and we're going to take a look at this week's and see kind of where we're at. So there's not much change from last week's meta report. We have here from last week Revan at 2307, Treya at 1218, Palpatine right behind her, Darth Maul, CLS, Bastila. Now let's take a look at the most recent meta report as of today. Revan, a few more Revans up there, a few more Treyas up there. Treya seems to be back in the mix now. A little bit more because I guess some people are putting in either Darkside Bastila or, you know, they're just kind of, using Traya more to counter the Revan teams.
Right.
And behind her, we still have Emperor Palpatine. And Palpatine just won't die, huh? I mean, Palpatine, I figured he would be kind of almost... He seems almost unusable at this point to me. I mean, I feel like I could take out a Palpatine team with a CLS.
Well, this meta report accounts for all the servers. Like, the three of us are all, like, on veteran servers. But, like, if you get Palpatine early on, like, let's say you start... Palpatine's, like, the first legendary event you encounter and you get him, that is super OP for your current shard.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Darth Maul is still seeing some play here as a counter to Revan 2. And, you know, as always, we still have Mother Talzin on the list, Rey Jedi Training, and we rounded out with 7 Grand Moff Tarkins and 6 Kiras. Gotta love those Kira rank 1 leaders out there.
Yeah, it's just crazy. We're getting down to 6. 6 total Kiras is making the board. Grand Moff Tarkin 7.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, that's our top 10 leaders. Revan's still dominating the meta. We're going to move on to our top 10 squad members at rank 1. This was last week's top 10 squad members with Grandmaster Yoda at the top, Emperor Palpatine at the bottom there. We're looking at Revan right behind him with General Kenobi, Bastila, Jolee Bindu, and then the last 4 there rounding out are Dark Side, you know, Darth Nihilus, Scion Traya, and Grand Admiral Thrawn with Palpatine. Let's take a look at this week's. Now we're looking at a little bit of a shift. You know, Grandmaster is still at the top with Revan, Kenobi, Bindu. We're seeing a lot more Jolee Bindus because obviously a lot more people are getting the Zeta on Jolee Bindu, and now he's even more used in a squad than Bastila Shan, which I find kind of interesting. I mean, Bastila is, I think, a pretty essential character. And Palpatine is now completely out of the top 10, and Hermit Yoda is there at number 10 now. So, pretty Jedi dominant, to be honest with you.
Yes, definitely. The Jedi scum, yes. Yes. I like them. I like the bad boys, personally. I like the dark side, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Jedi fan personally, but I do like. I mean, I like Sith too. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love, you know, Darth Nihilus. I love the Sith characters. I'm glad the Sith finally had their day in the sun. But it has been a Sith meta for a while. I mean, remember we had the Sith kind of come into the forefront with Darth Maul last year when they reworked him with that Zeta, and then the Sith kind of came back again with Traya, and they dominated for a long time. Now, they were also dominant with Palpatine before that. So it was Palpatine and then Traya. So it was like it's been a dark side meta for quite some time now. We haven't really seen, you know, what faction's been out of the limelight for a long time now, which was pretty much almost a staple for the first couple of years of this game are the Rebels. The Rebels are pretty much insignificant at this point. I mean, you know, there were so many wedge teams in the past that dominated. People were like, when are the Rebels not going to be the meta teams anymore? Then it was, you know, Akbar teams for a while. Then after that, it was the Baze and Chirrut teams that were dominating for a while. So it was Rebels for, you know, as far as the eye can see for the first couple of years of this game. And now Rebels are completely worthless. But
they just get slaughtered on defense. Like, you can climb with them.
Oh yeah,
you can climb. You can take first place and beat Revan. You can beat Traya. You could use CLS, Chewie, Raid Han, Vandor, Chewie, and then pick a tank. You could beat, you know, pretty much any team in the game, but you are going to fall really, really far overnight. So it's almost not, you know, you got to put in at least Traya or something overnight.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, but that's our meta report for this week. We're going to move on to this week's top 5. And this week we have an interesting one for you, one we haven't done in a while. So we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 characters, period, for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for the month of November 2018. So obviously this list has changed a little bit. We're definitely going to be looking at the best characters in the game, and that's for overall utility, not just the best leaders or the best support characters. It's really just the best characters in the game overall. So at number 5, who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 5 is going to be CLS. CLS, good old CLS. We just talked about how rebels are trash, but CLS is super versatile in the game. Makes probably the best rebel leader, a countering leader. He does so much within his kit. He's got a dispel. He's got the offense on, offense off mechanic. He has turn meter gain for the team. He's got loads of debuffs, defense down, I think it is, but speed down, buff immunity, which is super important. And just a essential character for the raid. He's not super useful in the Sith Triumvirate raid. He's not like a key character, as there's so many options for P3 now, but every other raid, I mean, you can solo the Rancor and the tank raid. You pretty much need CLS in both of those teams. Good damage, decent, just a decent all-around like package in terms of like stats for the character. So he is an essential character in everybody's package, everybody's character package.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, he is still a character that can still, save you in territory battles at the end if you get, wiped out. He's still that one character that can, regen his protection, give himself 100% turn meter and stun targets. You can kind of pinpoint who you want to attack and stun. If you have him jacked up with potency, he's even more effective. He's just a hard-hitting character, reduces turn meter. He's the only real viable rebel leader in the game to speak of. And he's just a great all-around character. Yes, for raid specifically, he's pretty much a home run for the pit raid. You can just throw it on auto and throw him in there and, auto that whole raid now with him and a couple of the characters. And he's just an essential character for all game modes in this game. He's essential for TW, TB, and he's probably going to be a meta character for a long time. But that's our number 5 leader. It's our number 5 character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 4 character, we have Enfys Nest. So some of you may have thought Enfys Nest might be a little bit higher up on the list here. It's debatable, but Enfys Nest is definitely a top 5 character. She has so much utility as a character that can be put on as a 5th in almost any team. She stuns, she dispels, she sticks AoE days, she reduces turn meter, she counterattacks. The list goes on and on. What are your thoughts about Enfys Nest, Abby?
She's the one character that I wailed. I haven't wailed on anybody else, but she's the only character I have ever wailed on. And I had done that before. I haven't even seen the movie yet. So I didn't know anything about her, but then I saw a video and went, oh my God, I have to have this character. So I use her for so much. And right now, I actually use her on my Revan team.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because she's very effective against Traya on that Revan team. On the Revan teams, you don't have a lot of debuffers. So if you are lacking a little bit with Ezra, if you're lacking or you don't have your Qui-Gon Jinn, maybe stick Enfys Nest in there. She'll slam them down a little bit, and she'll help take down Scion, which is a difficult thing to do with the Revan team.
Makes a lot of sense. Enfys Nest is definitely a super meta character, and a character that a lot of people that didn't spend money on in this, or a lot of people that never bought a character in this game before, decided to splurge on. I saw it very much so in my own arena shard. There are people that never spent a dime on this game that decided to, wail out on Enfys Nest because she was such a meta-defining character. I mean, right out the gate, we all knew that this was instantly going to be one of the best characters that came out this year. And I personally think that she's probably good old Maurice's favorite character in this game. But that's our number 4 character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 3 best characters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 3 is going to be Traya. Might be a shock to some of you, but Traya is going to be number 3, just for her overall kit. I mean, yes, she's a great leader. She is kind of faction specific. She doesn't have much standalone value, but once you get her 7-star, she's phenomenal in the raids. Kind of like we talked about earlier. You put the Triumvirate with her, and then just X and Y, and you can pick up 2 million in P2. Just got the cleansing. Every time a Sith begins their turn, they just instantly remove all the debuffs, which just neutralizes so many team comps within the game. Just get big damage on her saber. She's got Isolate, which is arguably the best individual ability in the entire game. Just a great character. You can build her tanky. You can build her, squishy and offense oriented. Very flexible in terms of how you build her. Just a great character. She is the in-game content, the heroic Sith raid reward. So she is definitely in the top 5 and number 3, in my opinion. I mean, you can make a case for any of these characters could be swapped. However you probably with the exception of CLS, the top 4 you can kind of move around. But yeah.
Well, Traya is absolutely like a meta-defining character. She's been the top of the meta, the premier for the last 6 months, and she's got a ton of damage. She brought a new debuff to the game with Isolate. Her leader ability is a mouthful, but it's basically one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. And she's just overall a hard-hitting character that can be a great addition to a squad and a great leader for a Sith squad. And I think that overall, when you think about characters that make an impact in this game and characters that I think are here for the long term, I think that no matter what Sith comes out in the future, whether it's Sith Revan or we get Darth Malak or we get Darth Malgus or Darth Bane at some point down the road, I think that we're going to always have Darth Traya as a part of that team. No matter how far down the road we're talking here, she's just got that much viability. So definitely a great character. What are your thoughts, Abby?
I think she's great. I absolutely love her. I was able to get 7-star on all of them fairly quickly, from hopping from guild to guild, or actually I should say from my account to account. But I really enjoy it. I want to keep her in my meta, absolutely, and I love her in TW because she's very versatile and can kick butt in just about anything.
Absolutely. All right, that's our number 3 character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 2 character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, we have Jedi Knight Revan. Oh, let's hear what everybody thinks about this. Okay, so we were actually at odds about this decision, me and Maurice, but ultimately it does make sense. Revan is a fantastic character all around. I mean, he does add so much to the Jedis. He is a character that can focus on a target that's not taunting, so he can basically create a taunt on any character in the game. He has a bonkers leader ability that just basically boosts the Jedi like crazy. He has the ability to pick and choose a character that he's going to dispel and then give 100% turn meter to. And overall, I mean, he's not the highest damage dealer in the game, but for utility, I mean, as a leader and even as a character that you put into a squad, he's just overall a fantastic character and a great addition to the Jedi squad.
Right. I'm kind of surprised that he's labeled as an attacker and not a support, because Trey is considered a support and has great synergy with a lot of the others that she can help out with. But with Revan, he doesn't hit that hard. So why have him as an attacker when he's actually better placed as a support character?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. It's kind of weird that he isn't listed as an attacker. I think that's just more because of his history in the lore than it is about what he actually does in this game.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
because he is considered one of the best, fighters in the history of Star Wars. So I guess they just listed him as an attacker. But yeah, he is more of a support character. He definitely does not do as much damage as some other characters on the team. I mean, if anything, Grandmaster Yoda is probably the major damage dealer of that Jedi team, and he is kind of secondary, even behind Bastila sometimes, if you mod her correctly.
Well, you can't beat somebody with a purple lightsaber. I mean, since purple's my favorite color, that's like, yeah, I like this. This is the character I want to get, simply because he's got a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely my favorite character in the game. I went nuts for him, so I'm glad I have him. But let me give you a little reasoning behind why he's number 2 here. Bear in mind that he is pretty faction specific. Okay, so you can't really get a lot of value out of Revan in other teams because of the way his kit was made. He does have a ton of utility in that Jedi team, and he right now is the best leader in the game as a Jedi leader. But again, there are other characters in this game that I think add a little bit more versatility to being in a larger amount of different teams that can kind of help you out in a lot of different areas. And he also doesn't have a ship,
right?
So there's that to factor in as well. But what are your thoughts, Maurice?
What he brings to the Jedi faction, he's hands down the best character in the game. But like, if you take Revan off and try to put him on your Tusken team, he's not going to do very much. He's not very. He really doesn't have too much standalone value outside of the Jedi, and even with, he doesn't really bring too much outside of the speed and maybe a couple components of his leadership ability to the Old Republic faction. So I mean, is he the best? Is he the meta character in the game right now? Yes. Is he the most useful overall for your entire gaming experience? No. And to prevent Ramon from having a stroke, I wanted to put Nest number 2 and move Traya and Revan down a slot, but I didn't.
That would never. I would never allow that to happen, guys.
Yes, I know. So I didn't even.
That to happen. But there is an echo, so whoever has the speaker on, just turn that off. Okay, let's take a look here at number 1. Who do we have here, Maurice?
That's going to be Thrawn. We just talked about characters that bring a lot to your entire gaming experience, and Thrawn is number 1. Just him and Nest. Okay, I'll get off my Nest kick. Thrawn is like the essence of a plug-and-play character. You can throw him in every single team. He is going to make that team arguably better. Just turn meter swap, protection regen, fracture. You make a case fracture, isolate are probably the 2 best abilities in the game. Maybe Revan's mark as well, but just completely neutralizes a character. Has great benefits for the raid. Just any big, just another much like CLS. You can throw him in your raid team. He's a key component to soloing. I use him in my Rancor solo team. A lot of people use him in their tank solo teams. Just significantly increases your raid scores. He is a member of the Empire faction. The Empire faction is kind of in my opinion, but you see him now. You see him in these Traya teams. We talked about Bastila earlier, and he's the 5th piece to the Triumvirate Bastila Traya counter to Revan. Just for that fracture, the combination of fracture and isolate. Just a great character, capital ship commander, a very good capital ship. Maybe not the best at the moment. That could change down the road. Who knows? But just a very, very, very fast character. That deals special damage. Just all sorts of just components he brings. He has a unique ability where he can cleanse an empire. If he's the leader, he brings a whole new ability, and every Empire character gets an additional ability where they just self-cleanse and get turn meter. That comes in super handy, especially in TW when you're facing, like a lot of people use the Thrawn Magma Trooper combo to counter Traya, and that cleanse can really come in handy. That way your Shore Trooper or your Stormtrooper can taunt, and they won't be shocked, or they won't be, buff block. They'll be able to shed it. They'll be able to continue taunting, get the debuffs off Death Trooper so he can be effective. Just a great character. Should be everyone needs to get. That's why every YouTuber, everybody that does a podcast, everybody that does Twitch recommends new players start Phoenix so they can get, mainly to get Thrawn.
I mean, that fracture ability is OP, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a dispel, and it basically renders a character useless. You can just pick anybody on the board if you have your Thrawn fast enough and just take him out of the game entirely. So he is absolutely a game changer character. Again, I know some of you guys don't necessarily use Thrawn as much as you may have in the past, or at all, based upon the team that you're running in Arena right now. So you may be running a Jedi team and you may not see a reason for Thrawn, but if you're running a good Sith team, or you're running a good a good counter to the Revan squads, Thrawn is definitely a good component to that.
He's one of my he's probably my top favorite character in the game, and always has. He's my favorite blueberry muffin boy. I love that character.
He is fantastic. That's why he's #1 in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right now. Now, we do have an honorable mention. As usual, I'm going to let you guys guess. What do you think it is?
Well, I know what it is.
not you. I'm talking about the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and reveal it here. It's Darth Nihilus. It's not Asajj. Damn it,
I'm actually surprised. He was not in the top 5, actually. I'm surprised.
Yes, Darth Nihilus is a fantastic character. Again, I'm sure if it was up to Maurice, Asajj would be here. But Darth Nihilus, with that Annihilate ability, there's just nothing greater than the ability to take out a full character with one attack. It's too crazy. He increases cooldowns. He can dispel with his basic attack. He's not much of a leader. That may change one day. He's not much of a leader right now, but his unique ability, being able to stick a debuff on basically every character as they take a turn. He's just a tremendous character all around, and couldn't really find a place in the top 5 for him over some of these other characters. But he's definitely worth a mention for sure.
Well, just you could use that Annihilate a 3-star. We talked the other night, one of the streams. Like, I started an alt where Darth Nihilus was the marquee character right around the same time, and it's just the entire arena was just 3-star Darth Nihilus just annihilating everybody. Just a great character, cooldown reduction, which is super helpful. He's got a dispelling on his basic. Like you mentioned, his leader is his Zeta is but just his overall kit is just phenomenal. Just very unique to the game. Just one-shot any character. They can't be revived. We talk about Jolie. We saw how quickly he's rising in Arena. It doesn't matter if you use Annihilate. The character cannot be revived. Once you put that Omega on it, it's a super good Omega investment in terms of abilities to purchase. It's just a cool character.
He's also just he's a great character to add to a lot of different squads as well. You don't necessarily have to have him on a Sith team to have him be useful. I mean, you could put him on the back of a Jedi team and he'll help out. You could put him on the back of a Night Sister squad and he'll help out. And again, I mean, these may not be the best teams on defense, but if you want to get a W, you could throw him in on a lot of different teams, and having that ability to dispel with a basic and then also take a character out entirely is tremendous. And just to give you a little insight, I mean, when they were creating this character, there was a lot of back and forth about whether the ability to annihilate itself was too overpowered to give to a single character. They definitely were tossing around the idea, and they had decided that this was the only opportunity that we'd ever have to actually give this to somebody, because there's no other character that could have this ability. So they decided to go with it, and I'm glad they did, because again, it's a move on the chessboard, and You know, there are factors to it. You know, the cooldown is pretty high, and you know, things like that. But when they
he's super slow, like base speed wise, he is incredibly slow, especially compared to some of these newer characters. He's slow. So I mean, you do have an advantage there.
Right, and Rex Nathaniel is actually the overall MVP for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes over the last 3 years, for sure. I agree with you 100%. He's just not in the meta right now. So as of November 2018, Rex is not in the top 5. But I would say, if you ask me, like, top 5 characters in the history of this game, absolutely, Rex would be in the top 3, in my opinion, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But,
well, that entire Rex meta that we had prior to Palpatine getting his rework, even afterwards, I mean, that whole Rex meta was predicated on Rex speeding up Nihilus. Every Rex team had Nihilus in it. So
Rex Lead will be back again someday, I promise.
It always is. It always is. Yeah.
But that's our top 5 for this week. Top 5 characters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for November 2018. If you guys like that kind of thing, please do smash the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're watching and you're not already subscribed, and click that bell for notifications when we go live every Sunday. So we're going to move on to our questions and answers segment here. Maurice will compile some questions that you guys have in the chat. Also, if you guys have any topics you'd like to discuss, doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of a question. If you just have, let's say, an overall topic you'd like to talk about, you know, something you'd like to throw out there, you can type that into the chat and ask about it, and we'll try to discuss that here now. Avinash happens to be one of the more knowledgeable players in this game, so she can also add her insight, which is, you know, fantastic that we have her here for that. So,
aw, thank you.
So, do you have any questions to start off with here, Maurice? Again, I'm still hearing that echo, so if you guys have that echo, you know, killed, that'd be awesome.
I've got the mic. I can barely hear you guys. I got to turn down super low. but let's see. We got quite a few questions. You guys ready?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
All right. DSP, what is the so-called Clone Wars and OT trilogy content we are supposedly getting?
Clone Wars and OT trilogy content. Okay, well, I think, first of all, OT trilogy is Millennium Falcon. I think it's also possibly C-3PO. That's my opinion. What do you guys think?
I would think the Millennium Falcon, especially since we got the I could definitely see that. The Clone Wars trilogy, they all got fancy helmets, and we're seeing it in the TWs now, where Mace is basically arguably the best character to ever be in the game. And then, you know, Grievous, actually, his rework was pretty significant for those that invested in him. You know, the Cup and Dooku bonuses are okay. I mean, Cup's pretty impressive, but you have to really face a scoundrel team to get those. You know, who knows? I don't think we're going to be getting too much. Perhaps they rotate in like a clone synergy to TW. You know, maybe they start rotating TW bonuses. Maybe it's a bonus in Grand Arena. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'm not sure. Had the Geonosians and the Jawas not gotten like just artwork reworks without, you know, they got their artwork done and then nothing came of it. They're like, we speculated for months because the Geonosians, you know, got their artwork snazzed up with that the Separatist rework was coming, and we never saw that. So we'll see. I don't think that they'll get reworked per se, but I think maybe them as a faction will get a boost in a certain area of the game, which would be good because the clones are pretty much outside of P4 of the tank raid. They're really kind of they're like TW mop up.
Yeah, I think the OT stuff is. I think we're getting a legendary ship, and I think that ship is going to be the Millennium Falcon, and I think that we're getting C-3PO as a legendary character, and I don't know. It seems a little bit weird because I don't know. I feel like we've already had a hero's journey, and then we had a legendary Chewbacca event. So to have another legendary event so soon would be kind of weird, but You know, there are a lot of characters left to release in this game. I mean, you know, they still have another version of Luke to do. Actually, 2 versions of Luke to do. That's if they decide not to go with, let's say, a Force Ghost Luke eventually. But they have other versions of Rey to do, other versions of a lot of characters. I think we're going to get another version of Leia here at some point. So, I mean, there's still a lot of characters, and even if you want to go back into the KOTOR era, I mean, there's still a lot of characters there they have to release, too. So, there's a lot of stuff they can still bring out. So, it would make sense for them to add more legendary events in addition to, you know, more marquee characters and things like that. But we'll see. Next question. Do we have another question, Maurice? Did we lose Maurice?
Do we lose him or did he fall asleep?
I don't know. I think he's there. Maybe he fell asleep. Maurice! That's awesome. No, I think we lost him in the chat. He just dropped out and dropped back in, so that's what it is. Maybe he's frozen. Maurice! I don't know, this is a first for the live show here. He's typing in the chat here. Let's see what he says. Okay, so he got he had some internet difficulties. He'll be back in a moment. But I don't know. What do you think, Abby? What do you think's coming from OT original trilogy?
Ooh, I mean, there's so much. I think that they should do a monster theme. I think they should have like the Sarlacc. I think they should have, you know, like different things, you know, C-3PO and stuff like. It'd be interesting to maybe Carbonite Han. They might have hit that one too, so they have another Han Solo.
It's possible,
so,
yeah. A sixth Han, yeah.
Yeah, a sixth Han, and he would be encased in Carbonite, and his ability would be to fall over and land on you and smush you, maybe.
Or they could have Jabba the Hutt, or we could also get we can get Impaled Han.
Yeah, we could get Jabba the Hutt, Salacious Crumb. We could have some of the band members. The band members could be a faction.
Yes, that's true. We'll see.
So there's so many things that we could go for. I think it would be interesting to see what they drudge up, especially after maybe coming up with a lot of the regular tunes, and some of them you go, well, where was this in the movie at, kind of thing. You know, 10 years down the road, you know, it depends upon what kind of characters they might start coming up with. They'll be going back and forth.
Sure, for sure. Let me see here. All right, so we have a question here from Nathaniel Morgan. You still think character shards as a reward for Grand Arena? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I think if there were character shards, that a lot more people would participate in the Grand Arena. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be kind of forcing people to play something that they might not really want to. Agreed.
That's part of it too. Like, how can you not participate if it's a character that you're going to be missing out on?
Right, and so many people are limited time-wise anyway in their ability to play. I mean, it came down to when we first started the game way back when it came out, you were able to do about 10-15 minutes, and if you were really enthused about it, about half an hour. Now, literally, you can take that game and play almost all day long and still not get everything done.
Yeah, it's true. I remember I used to be able to finish my dailies in this game in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like such an easy thing, and then yeah, the game became, well, I mean, mobile games in general became more of a big deal over the last couple of years. I mean, we just happen to be right at the precipice of like the beginning of like the mobile game era, where it's like, you know, before these things were really just considered to be games you could play in passing throughout your day, as something fun to do on the side. Over the last 2 years, mobile has actually overtaken console as the #1, you know, producing revenue stream for gaming. I mean, it makes more money now than console does. So it's a changing time. Oh, a full unlock of IG's 86. That's pretty awesome. But oh, Maurice is back! Yay, internet. We thought you fell asleep on the street. It looked like the way you were frozen. It looked like you were totally out. That people were saying. People said you were snoring.
No, not yet. It's very soon.
I was like, if you fell asleep, that's amazing. I mean, like, you know.
Okay, I tried to type a couple questions in the chat. Did you guys get those answered already, or
I did Nathaniel's question, not DSPs yet.
Right.
Okay. You guys ready for DSPs?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Is your camera working again, or should I just leave that off for right now?
I've got it. I'm back on the Hangouts. It should be working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so let me fix that.
Sorry about that, guys. My internet just dropped out. Yeah. Well, next question comes from DSP. Which Old Republic characters will have Deathmark and/or Shock?
Deathmark or Shock, huh?
Well, there's definitely going to be one. Like, there's clearly going to be another Deathmark, because neither Ordo or Darkside Bastila, they don't really pair well with Death Trooper, right? So I think we will get another one. Heaven forbid if Darkside Revan comes with Marked and Deathmark at the same time. That would just be instantly one-shot any character in the game. That'd be kind of silly, but...
Right.
God, that'd be nasty, right? But maybe Malik, maybe... I don't know, maybe HK-47 gets reworked. You know, maybe his Meatbag Mayhem can, every once in a while, land Deathmark just like all the other debuffs. He's pretty worthless as a character, but, you know, they might be able to incorporate Deathmark in his kit. I mean, this is purely speculation. We're getting another one, for sure. I think we got some Shock characters, Dooku, Palpatine. I'm not sure if we'll get another Shock character, per se, but... it is a cool mechanic. It's a pretty OP mechanic, especially if you start spamming it. Palpatine just gets a lot of benefits from shocked enemies. So Palpatine could rise back up in the meta, I mean, perhaps, if we do get a decent shock character, because Dooku kind of sucks, right? But, yeah.
I think they're really going to limit the Deathmark. I think that they figure, because it's a pretty darn good talent to have, and so I think that's going to be extremely stretched out and very, very limited compared to, say, Shock.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because it'd be nice to have one that we can use in the Sith P3, and that way you can throw in two Chex Mix type teams.
Oh yeah, because P3 definitely takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using that Boba Fett, Greedo, Chewie team, but that team, it's great, but boy, is it a pain to set up. I mean, you can retreat 20 times. So it'd be nice to maybe get a quick one in there, and then maybe I could fool around with the Greedo team, secondly, like as a secondary team.
Right.
Let's see. Hans Omar von Harold Duerte saw a video of the rework of Grievous, but didn't know if it was real or fake. I guess just basically is Grievous getting a rework. Grievous appeared larger in the game, so a lot of people were kind of... it's just speculation. There's been nothing confirmed at all. You know, Grievous's character model, I guess, got a little bigger, and there was, you know, everyone thinks it's a hint of an incoming rework. Could be, hopefully, but there's been no sort of official announcement on that. Just the bonuses we get in the TW.
Well, let's look at this. Okay, so they changed the way his model looks in the game, 100%. Okay. they basically buffed him for Territory Wars with Mace Windu. And he was just released in Star Wars Battlefront as a playable character. So I would have to say that even though it may not be happening, I'd say tomorrow, I would definitely look at General Grievous to be a character that's probably getting a rework sooner rather than later.
Just the community has just begged for it for so long. I mean, it's. I don't think they can just ignore it, you know. And I don't. Hopefully not. And even that bonus he got in TW, while he hits hard now, yeah, he's still, for the amount of work it takes to get him in this game, it's still not good enough, right? Like I don't know if that's going to be enough.
No, definitely not.
He's so slow, and that AOE debuff movie does no damage on. I mean, that movie is essentially worthless. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know, the health down move. That's just silly. But
yeah, no, I agree. His kit is just, I mean, it was never meta, never. So it's like, I mean, it was just like I said, he was because of the ability for HK-47, because of HK-47's leader ability, he was able to pull off victories as a component of that team. That was the only way he was ever a usable character in this game. And that time has come and passed. So again, I think that for probably, you know, one of them, I mean, he was the original whale character in this game. I mean, he's now become a lot more attainable, and a lot more people have him because he's been out for so long. But I mean, he was only available in the shard shop, and really for the for anybody who spent you know, a large amount of money and had all that currency at that time. Because again, back then, attaining shard shop currency was not really what it is today. Now it's more of a situation where you know, they basically have added so many components to allow you to build up your shard shop currency. Back then, it was only if you bought, like, you know, only if you bought really chromium packs that you had that much shard shop currency, and it was some way to kind of compensate the people that you know, continued to buy chromium packs even though they already had most of the characters maxed out. It was a way for them to start recouping something in return for getting so many extra shards. Like it gave you a reason to, let's say, if they released a new chromium character, to continue to buy chromium packs, because then, you know, you were able to now go for General Grievous. And they never added another character to the shard shop. He was the only one ever, and probably the only one that ever will be. Actually, no, there was a short period of time where you were able to get Baze Malbus too out of the shard shop.
well, they kind of did like a character. It was kind of before they announced the like official character cadence. Characters would kind of go from like marquee, like Ahsoka Fulcrum was in there for a while. There was a couple marquee characters got put in there for like a weekend.
Right.
Nihilus was in there for a while because I that's how I got my Nihilus. I remember frantically spending every ally point I had trying to get shard shop currency so I could get Nihilus. I remember that. That was a grind. Just opening ally point packs every day, all day. Just, you know, farming Geonosian soldiers, Node, and Cantina. It's just trying to get shard shop currency for Nihilus. I remember that grind. That was awful. But, yeah. Let's see. We had one from Rodney Staggs.
Okay.
Oh, that's a first. I think this might be the first question he's asked. Welcome to the questions, there, Mr. Staggs.
Welcome,
What is
Mr.
the best
Staggs.
way? What is the best way to mod nest for the arena?
Best way to mod nest for the arena. Abby, what do you think?
Honestly, it depends upon what team not only what team you've got her on, but what type of, how you're going to utilize her. That's what I was trying to come up with. There's two different things that you can do. You can, mod her up to be slow, especially up against Utreya. So you want to have something that she's going to be stable and viable. A lot of things without secondary speed. Oh, I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember how I have mine modded. In another way, you want to have her very fast as well, because you want to get that days off. Not days. Was it days? Oh my god, I apologize. I'm getting tired. So
It's okay. It's getting late. Yeah.
Right. Let's see. How do I have my mod? I'm taking a look right now. I have her modded for offense. For offense and health, which is a strange combination in itself. But she's such a great attacker that she really hits hard on my team. For the most part, sometimes I put her in health mods without speed secondaries to be slow against Revan.
Okay.
And some of it, sometimes I'll put in a set of defense as well. Although I'm not really big on defense mods anyway. I'll usually hit health mods and stick as much health as I can on her. And take off the speed.
For what you're talking about is a big part of why she made this top 5 list tonight, because you can, I mean, she's got such a versatile kit. You can mod her a multitude of ways, and she's going to be effective.
Yeah, there's no real right way to mod her. You can use just about anything on her for whatever purpose you want her for. There's so many loadouts that you can create and just pop on her for whatever purpose.
And just to note that her, like you mentioned, health, which is a good way to mod her, because her protection, the purple bar that she gets every time she gets hit is based on health. So health does benefit her, unless, you know, just there's so much. She's so versatile. I love her. She's my favorite character in the game, probably. Yeah. Next question. B. Masu. Where is Gom's hat? Ramon does not like me to wear a hat. So I tried to.
We all want to see his pretty face. Come on.
Apparently, when I wear a hat, the light I have in here, I just show up as like a cloaked character that doesn't have a face. So I try not to wear a hat unless it's just super late, and I don't want you guys to see how tired I look. So, Billy Gunn, who will we need for C3PO?
Well, I would think R2D2. Right?
Yeah. Well, he's such a... I mean, he's such a big, like, I don't know, just... He's in all, you know, he's in so many movies and so much screen time. I mean, you could do a multitude of things. A lot of people speculate the Ewoks, because we really don't have anything for the Ewoks outside of that indoor event.
The Ewoks,
that'd be a way to...
Ewoks could be it. That probably is the answer, to be honest with you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Well, especially if they make it as difficult as that Chewbacca event, like you'd have to have Gear 11 plus Ewoks. That's a faction very few people outside of the vets of the game have. Like, there are very few people that have a lower GP, like a 3 million and under GP, that have a developed Ewok team, unless they're just, you know, Ewok guys. I mean, it's not really... There's
a value to that, though, outside of it. I mean, if you level up your Ewoks, you'll have, you know, a team to get those Zetas out of Endor Escalation, too.
Yeah. Well, they're very versatile on, like, TW offense. I think they'll be a great faction to have for the Grand Arena, for the more veteran players. They don't really excel in too many of the PvE areas of the game. So, I mean, like, again, if you're a... that would be pretty brutal, especially, I mean, for me. I mean, I've been playing forever, and I have a pretty developed roster, and I don't have the Ewoks, so that would be a grind for me. But Paplu and Logray are good characters. They're good together. It's a good little duo. Of course, Wicked. But yeah. Let's see what else we got. That's looking about. Maybe we got some late questions here. Apparently, I missed some when I blanked out. Does Fallen Bastila work against Revan under a Palp lead without Traya? And what kind of crazy mods are needed? Well, if
do we lose him again?
we're gonna teach it.
No,
No, I'm here.
no, he just cut out for a second. That's all.
Yeah. It looked like you were asleep again.
Okay. Have you guys tried Bastila? I know that footage they gave us showcased him under a Palpatine lead, and you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, but the majority of the player base, not the majority, but probably half the player base doesn't have Traya, so you know they want to make this character look appealing to everyone. I haven't tried her much. Have you guys tried her under Bastila or excuse me, Palpatine at all?
Yeah. I know somebody who tried a G12 Bastila, 7-star G12 Bastila, and tried several different leads. Did okay with the EP lead, but seems to do better under Traya.
Well, if you got a lightning fast Thrawn, you can make anything work. So
that's true. Yeah, definitely. She's still very effective, but it's going to be a kind of a crapshoot whether it's going to be that effective against, say, Revan.
Yeah. Wergo, if you ask that question maybe again next week, maybe we'll have a little better answer there. Just we haven't had too much time to really play with the character, you know, because it does take significant remodding. The traditional Palpatine and Traya modding strategy changes when you include Bastila.
Agreed.
Nathaniel Moore, do you think they should increase the battle arena timer?
Oh man, didn't it used to be at 7 minutes?
The fleet did.
The ships were.
Oh, it's the ships. Okay.
I mean, arena is frustrating right now. Even you could have Revan, you could have all the key components to the Revan team, and you know, if you don't have your Grandmaster Yoda hitting for hundreds of thousands of crit damage, it is tough to complete the battles in a quick manner. That's for sure. It's frustrating.
Well, you get straight up timeout. I mean,
yeah.
and it happens quite often, actually. You know, like that may happen in this battle right now. You know, because I mean, the regeneration of health and protection of these teams is absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And then
it's getting a little better. It's getting a little. We're getting more used to Revan. We're getting the kill order down a little better. We're you know.
Well, if you have bad RNG and then they revive. Let's say Bindo revives like 3 times. You know, Revan, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. You get better with it, but there's still that element of bad RNG. You know, that you have to factor in. So sometimes it happens. I timed out against this actual guy earlier today. It was just, I mean, I still had full 5 characters, and then he still had a full 5 characters at the end. So that happened earlier today in Arena, but it happens.
I think that's about all the questions, guys. That's pretty much all I see. If I missed some, guys, I apologize. I did cut out there for a little bit, so.
All right. Well, if that's the case, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here then, guys. Okay, it's getting around the witching hour here, and, you know, some of us have to get ready for work tomorrow, but I appreciate everybody hanging out and sticking it out with us late on a Sunday night. We'll be back again next Sunday with episode number 74, and hopefully some more information about Bastila Fallen and maybe another character. Who knows? I mean, they could have an update sometime in the middle of this week. We'll find out some more info there. Maybe we'll have some more info on the Grand Arena and when that update is coming. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays, and we will be, you know, for sure doing some more videos during the week as well. As I'm off for a couple days this week, I'll definitely try to get some content out there for you guys. You know, as I try to gear up my Bast a little bit more, if I can get her to gear 11, you know, with respectable mods, I'll definitely make a video trying to showcase her against the Revan teams if possible. But I definitely have to do some remodding, like Maurice said, and we'll see if I can accomplish that. But again, I want to extend a thank you and very special open welcome to Avinash for joining us tonight, and she's welcome to come back anytime that she likes.
Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it, and I would love to come back.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having you, and where can they find you? I know you guys are you know, doing the podcast. I mean, is there a channel where they should check that out, or?
Yeah, that's under Nukin's YouTube channel.
Okay.
And so that's where we have the SWGOH In-Depth podcast listed there.
Okay, so yeah, she's a member of the panel there for that podcast, and you should definitely check out Nuka's channel to check her out there. And I hope to have her on more frequently here as well, as long as she's available. But as always, we definitely will see you guys next week. Also, check out Operation Metaverse and good old Maurice's stream on Tuesday night with Team Money. Team Money did message me earlier. She was unable to make it tonight, so I'm sure she'll be back maybe either next week or the week after, whenever she's available too. So again, it was fun. May the force be with you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Good night, guys.